It's been roughly 48 hours since Donald Trump won a second term, and let's see here. His campaign confirmed that he'll begin mass deportations on day one. Trump allies promised to get revenge on their enemies. RFK Jr. is going after Fruit Loops, the cereal, not the people. He would never turn against his own. The Justice Department began winding down the criminal cases against Trump. Democrats descended into infighting and finger-pointing, and Donald Trump told a long, rambling story about leaving someone on hold for 45 minutes to watch what he thought was a movie, but turned out to be real life. So, yeah, America's back, baby. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. If you're one of the tens of millions of Americans who voted for someone other than Donald Trump on Tuesday, just know two things. You're not alone, and also your sadness is making some people very happy.
The liberal tears, they were flowing yesterday.
Liberal tears were pouring at Kamala Harris's very short-lived watch party.
I take my karma piping hot with a side of liberal tears. I'm so here for this.
If you're enjoying liberal tears, joke's on you. I've lost the ability to cry. It's a condition called the medical inability to lacrimate. And if you don't know what lacrimate is, I guess you haven't recently asked WebMD, why can't I cry? That's right, my doctors say my tear ducts are drier than a Joe Biden story about growing up in Scranton. I was a lifeguard. Yeah, no joke. They said I was the hairiest guy in the swimming pool. I'm not kidding around here. Also, is crying bad now? Because based on Donald Trump's stories, that's all people do when they come near him.
A man came up to me and he was crying. Strong man, big, tough guy, but he was crying. Steel workers came up to me and they were crying. 8 of them were crying. The person came into the Oval Office and started to cry. He had tears coming down his eyes. Ron came to see me, tears in his eyes. Men that were tough and strong, women that were tough and strong, they'd see me, their tears coming down their eyes.
A liberal came up to me, tears pouring down his bespectacled eyes, onto his shirt that says, "Love is love and science is real." And he said to me, "Mr. Trump, sir, I'm crying because you suck." And I said, "It's so true." But the libs aren't just crying, they're also promising to use their power in Congress to push back on Trump's excesses.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, the just re-elected Rhode Island Democrat who is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, said in his first public statement since the election, he said, "This election result has changed the job description I was expecting. We know Trump's character, so the next Congress will be less about pursuing progress than about containing the inevitable corruption of a second Trump administration."
Thankfully, it's not hard to contain Donald Trump. I mean, even when he dances, he only moves his arms. So conservatives are taking joy from liberal sadness, but hey, it's not all bad. Some people are doing really great after Trump's victory. You know, like the small-town farmers and factory workers he promised help, and I'm just with you, it's rich dudes.
The fortunes of the 10 richest people in the world surged by a daily record yesterday after Donald Trump won second term as president. According to the Bloomberg Billionaire Index, the net worth of billionaires led by Tesla's Elon Musk surged by $63.5 billion. Among the other top gainers there, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Oracle's Larry Ellison, and Berkshire's Warren Buffett.
This is really great news for Elon Musk. You know, maybe now he'll finally be able to afford a shirt that covers his entire stomach. You know, my man, take this lesson from a fellow nerd. Unless you got a six-pack, don't show us your abs. Whenever I take my kids to the beach, I wear one of those fake muscle shirts. And yeah, my kids make fun of me, and I cry. Or I used to cry. Thanks, President Trump. Of course, Trump is thrilled to have the richest man alive as a close ally. He's so excited that in his first remarks to the American people as president-elect, instead of laying out a policy or a vision for the nation, he told a very long, very confusing story about how he was watching one of Musk's rockets take off and put someone else on hold.
I tell the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And that very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually. But, you know, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again, so I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And especially because you're going to be president again, they hold. So I took the phone down, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this crazy thing that's going around and coming down. It looks like it's going to crash into the gantry. And I said, "Oh, no." And I said, "Do me a favor, do you mind holding for a couple of minutes? I want to see this." I thought it was a space-age movie or something. I put the phone down, bad part, I didn't pick it up for 45 minutes, and he was holding.
He was one of the most powerful men in the country, and you left him on hold for 45 minutes? Who was it? Oh, God. Oh. I mean, he probably didn't even notice he was on hold. So anyways, one day, scram pool drains clogged with hair, and they said, I best Joe. Yeah, I best Joe, because he's here. I tell him, listen up, you dog-faced pony soldier. I'm so confused by this story. You left someone on hold for almost an hour so you could watch TV? I mean, I knew Trump was rude, but I didn't know he was ruder than Verizon. Did you at least have some fun hold music?
Thank you for calling Mar-a-Lago. You are number 19 in line. Please hold for the next available president-elect.
Oh, great, now I'm doing it. Side note, the fun thing about calling the Trump customer service hotline is the sound it makes when you press buttons.
Ding, boom, bing, bong, ding, pshin, boom, ding, ding, boom, bing, bing.
Guys, we gotta get through the next 4 years somehow. So yeah, there are gonna be some sound effects. So billionaires are already profiting off a second Trump turn. Trump, meanwhile, is getting ready to roll out his radical and very weird agenda, and his allies are asking for just one thing. Leave him alone, okay?
There was an article in the New York Times in June that said resistance to new Trump administration already forming. And it was this long article about all these groups that were already out there. At that time, they thought he was going to beat Biden, but already planning to try to tie up the administration in court. This is exactly what happened last time. They were plotting to impeach him before he ever took office back in 2016. Let us not have a replay of this. Can we just have a couple of years of peace for the Republicans and President Trump?
A couple of years? Democrats didn't even get a couple of months. You're lucky we don't do the liberal version of January 6th, which would just be the faculty at Bryn Mawr performing a sound bath on the Senate floor. Florida, we do not recognize your 30 electoral votes as we cannot hear them over the sound of this Tibetan singing bowl.
Ding, boom.
The lack of shame and self-awareness is not surprising, but it is stunning. When the shoe is on the other foot, not only do Republicans not give Democrats any deference or leeway, they actively try to undermine and overthrow Democrats. But now you want us to give you peace? This is giving me flashbacks to visiting my aunt and uncle in New Jersey when I was a kid. Tony, did you make the sauce yet? Malone, I'm watching the game. Why don't you give me some peace and quiet, you shrew? You didn't give me no peace and quiet when I was on the phone with my sister. That's because I heard you telling her about my business. I gotta keep my affairs private, capiche? What affairs? You drive a garbage truck. You ain't no Lee Iacocca. And by the way, that's not my flashback. I don't have an Italian bone in my body. That's Closer Look writer in Proud New Jersey and Salvatore Gentile's flashback. But that's how it works when you have writers. You pay them a salary, and in turn, you get to steal their memories. Capiche? So Republicans are ludicrously demanding the rest of us give Trump peace. They also want the investigations of Trump's various crimes to come to an end.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise posted on X, quote, "The lawfare must end," and called for the politically motivated prosecutions of President Donald Trump to be terminated.
And you know what? You'll probably get your way because the Supreme Court gave Trump immunity and the DOJ has a dumb policy about not prosecuting sitting presidents, and it stinks. We have a stupid system that basically makes getting elected president a get-out-of-jail-free card. They're going to have to add one to Monopoly that says run for president, win, collect $200, and then a second card that says, unless your name is Rudy Giuliani, then you're still broke and disbarred and weird. And sure enough, DOJ officials are already getting ready to comply with Republican demands.
I'm told that Jack Smith is someone who understands that he has to follow whatever the rules and regulations of the Justice Department are. So at this point, they are looking for ways to wind this down. I'm told it's unclear when this will happen. I'm told that the formal discussions, according to my source, have begun in earnest today, and it's going to take them several days to figure out exactly what this looks like.
So given the fact DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president, expect Jack Smith's cases to be done. Donald Trump's legal problems have essentially all gone away since he won last night.
You know, not everything the Democrats did the last 4 years was great, but one thing you can't complain about is the deliberate pace with which Merrick Garland prosecuted Donald Trump. I mean, he dotted his I's and crossed his T's, then dotted his T's and crossed his I's, then he crossed out his I's and replaced it with T's, then he crossed his actual I's and put dots on his T-shirt, and sure. At the end of 4 years, there's literally nothing to show for it. But is that what a Justice Department is even for? Results? Or is it about the journey? Pretty awesome that by winning the presidency, you get off scot-free from your many legal cases. Justice is served. Are public defenders going to start giving this advice to clients who get busted selling weed? Okay, Dougie, I know you're facing 6 months in county lockup, so you can either fight the charges or, hear me out, run for president. They're never gonna like me, man. I once pretended to give a BJ to a microphone. Would you believe that's no longer a problem? Would you believe, Dougie, that is no longer disqualifying in this country? It's a closing argument. So Trump's about to skate and Republicans are demanding peace. Meanwhile, Democrats have already descended into recriminations and finger pointing.
You've already hearing some of this out in public. Some blaming Joe Biden for not getting out of the race early. Others blaming their message. Some blaming liberals for pushing their party's message too far to the left.
I do think the Democratic Party needs to really evaluate, like, how far left are we going to go? Are we going to stay in the center? Because the country is telling us they are in the center.
I think Democrats went way too far to the left on a whole host of issues.
Clearly, there is going to be some sort of reckoning here with the progressive left.
Many Democrats blaming those on the far left of their party. New York Congressman Richie Torres, a Democrat, saying Trump has no greater friend than the far left. Torres adding the working class is not buying the ivory towered nonsense that the far left is selling.
You think Kamala Harris was too far left? She campaigned with Liz Cheney. The only way she could have run a more mainstream centrist campaign is if she formed a Huey Lewis cover band with Mitt Romney and did a cameo on Law & Order. I mean, she praised Dick Cheney for crying out loud. And personally, you know, I'm shocked that didn't work. I assume there was a groundswell of support for old Growler here. My aunt and uncle love that guy. Hey, Tony, I heard you were going to vote for Trump, but then Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala. Yeah, I love that freaking guy. Now give me some peace. I'm trying to watch the Jets. The Jets ain't never going to bring you peace, Tony. Madonna. Right? Look, I'm not all that interested in recriminations and infighting, but I do think there's some important lessons Democrats can learn from this. For example, I've been thinking a lot about something Barack Obama said on the campaign trail.
Some folks will be like, well, Donald Trump sent me a check during the pandemic. No, y'all know, because I've heard this. I know y'all, some of you heard that. Hey, let me make sure y'all understand this. Joe Biden sent you a check during the pandemic, just like I gave people relief during the Great Recession. The thing is, we didn't put our name on it.
Okay, but you should have. Like, next time, put your name on it. Seriously, Joe Biden should have sent everyone $1,000 in the mail and called it Biden bucks. And it's not an issue of left versus far left. You just have to make people's lives better in a way that's direct and easy to understand, and then aggressively take credit for it. Take Obamacare. It's great. In the polls, people say they love it, they want to keep it, but polls also show they're sometimes confused by it or don't even know they have it. So next time, make it easy. Just pass a universal health care plan and send everyone a little ID card in the mail that says Obamacare, or a Democrat gave this to you. Please remember that, okay? There are lessons Democrats can take away from this election, and if they implement those lessons quickly, a lot can change. Remember, after Trump's first win in 2016, Democrats won big in 2018, 2020, and 2022. Just this week, MAGA candidates Mark Robinson and Kari Lake lost or are currently behind in crucial swing states. And I'm sure when they saw the returns on Tuesday, they had
tears coming down their eyes.
This has been a closer look. Hey, guys.